And we're gonna share. I'm gonna share my screen so we can get started. There you go. So welcome everyone. I'm here with Josh, one of our mentors and teacher assistants. Thank you for joining. We have just a few people around. We're gonna, I believe we're gonna get all in the rest of the participants as we make progress, but I don't want to delay it for all of you that are being on time. So again, welcome and thank you for joining. Let me just keep here. There you go. You guys can post the questions right there if you have them. So let's get started. The idea of today is just to do a quick summary of what we do, and we've been working for a long time with our courses. We believe we're really good. I don't want to sound cocky, but we try to do these as good as possible, and we just want to communicate it to all of you. The idea of today is again show you basically how we work, and of course try to answer all the questions you guys might have. Usually any info session should start with something like, why would you like to get started with programming, how hot the market currently is, what are the trends, like why we have so much people trying to get into programming, how is the market growing, and all that. We will try to avoid it because you guys know it, right? If you're here, you know what it is about. We're lucky that we don't have just people that are trying to be programmers, but we have a good variety of different profiles, we might say. We have, I don't know, from doctors that realize that they want to do some type of data processing and they need or realize that Python might be a great choice for them, to already, like, I don't know, programmers that were coding with C for so long and now they want to transition to something new. So we have this good variety of profiles, and that's why we don't want to focus on all the market stuff. You guys know it. It's just we can also talk about it during the Q&A. So really quick overview of what we do and how we do it. The idea of rmotr is to have mainly human interaction, and even though this is an online course, right, we will do these like video conference all the time. It's an online course. We want to make it feel home. We want to make it feel physical, real. We want you to be able to have your instructor explaining you something, but feel a real interaction. You know, being able to stop your instructor right there and say something like, express in your own words what you're having trouble with, what would you like to get re-explained, rephrased, and feel that real communication and interaction happening. It's really important for us to achieve that, and actually that's the core or the most important thing that we try to do. So at rmotr, you will have classes every week, once per week. We have a class where we visit a lot of topics. We talk about programming. We try to focus on things that are not usually talked in books or other resources. So you will probably join rmotr because you already know how to, I don't know, do a simple for loop. You want to focus on things that are maybe more, there you go, sorry, that are probably related to, for example, when is the best moment to use, or when should we use a dictionary versus a list? What are the differences, or what are the performance implications of that? So you are past. I'm not going to say you're past the basics, but you might be starting to learn, but you want to focus on things that are not taught anywhere else. You want a seasoned instructor giving you advice about how to use things, not just, hey, this is a for loop. Can you go and write 10 for loops? And you have Code Academy for that. You have Udemy. There are plenty of free resources. You can just get a book and read that. You want to focus on something that gives you more value. Also, having the chance to explore things around aside from the language itself, right? Knowing Python is just the beginning. If you want to do things right, you have to learn all the universe surrounding the language. Like, for example, how to work with GitHub, for example, how to create a repository, how to push code to GitHub, how to share it, how to write tests. Think about design, design your algorithms, so all these things are surrounding the language itself, and they are really important. So something else I was forgetting, style. In Python, it's really important to have a good style in your code. Make your code Pythonic, as you would hear and read. And nobody can tell you that but a human being. That's why we need human interaction. That's why we want you to be in front of a teacher. We want you to, again, be able to stop your teacher and say, hey, this is my code. What am I doing wrong? Or what am I doing right? Or this thing works. Is this fine? How can I improve it? So those are the things that are important. So moving forward, we have classes once per week. Again, it's a real class. It's not like this webinar where you can't talk. It's a meeting, so you can just speak freely, and we actually encourage you to do it. We encourage you to ask your questions the moment we're explaining you something. We're explaining you something. And also be able to answer other students. So during the class, it's just a group of human beings trying to learn. So a student might ask something, and even though the instructor, of course, will try to answer that, there are other students that can just jump ahead, or it can be even you just jump ahead and explain or give your. Usually there is no right or wrong answer, so just give your point of view and interact again in a real class. So that's happening once per week. And then what we have is we work every coding session. That's the name that we give. We work with, one second. Enjoy. So every coding session that it's usually happening Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, what we try to do is we try to give you the notion of a real project happening, right? So you just don't want to learn something, and you don't want someone just telling you about something without having the ability to practice it. So that's a really important thing. You want to sit and try to code on your own. So during Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, what we do is we give you a project to work with. It's a carefully thought project. It is tested, right? So you will have tests. You will see how test-driven development works. And that project will allow you to start something, think about the design, and make or put this knowledge into practice. So that's probably one of the most important things. And of course, all of this is happening remotely. So you will be able to take the course wherever you are and in any situation that you currently are. So again, feel free to ask any questions you guys might have. I'm here to help out and to answer those. Let's talk about the curriculum. We currently have 3 courses: the intro, the advanced one, and the Django, the web development with Django course. These are thought to be one after the other, and The idea of the introductory course is to what we feel, right? This is something that we feel from our students, and here it's also important to count on your experience. But what we feel is that we have a lot of people that have been trying to learn with free resources, for example, with books, and it's difficult to jump to the next level, you know, like to be able to actually get something built. I will explain to you how to use a for loop or how to use a list, and you understand that. But then what we want you to do is go and build something by yourself. And that is hard. So that's what the introductory course is trying to achieve, you know, give you the option to just get something done by yourself. The advanced course is empowering that part. It's the most important part is we want you to, now that you have jumped, you have made a leap to work by yourself, we also want for you to be, we want you to be able to propose, you know, we want you now to say, I want to take the lead, I want to build my own projects, you know, I want to know advanced features. The advanced course deals with really, not, I don't know if real advanced features, but features that are not commonly taught anywhere else. So for example, we're going to talk a lot about, I don't know, decorators and how they work and how to write one. How can you write decorators or a library that uses decorators? We're going to focus on generators. We're going to focus on iterators. We're going to see more advanced things related object-oriented programming. But for what? And here's the most important part about the advanced course. It has a real implication, a real meaning behind it, you know? So if you guys want to go either with data science or web development, it's really important to understand the fundamentals of Python and these features that are really important to get started with more advanced implication or I don't know, projects. So for example, the first course of the advanced Python course deals with functional programming, which is conceptually, but it's really important to understand it. If you guys are doing, for example, web development, you will find yourselves building a lot of functional programming. I don't want to get started like with data science. Data science all going to be about processing data, and functional programming excels at processing data. So it's just a commentary, but it's the advanced course is dealing mainly with that. And then finally, the Django web course, which seems simple, but there is a reason why it's at the end of this track. It's the most advanced one because if you have chosen to go with web development, it's going to be really important to understand the foundations of the web and understand the implications of doing web development. There are many tracks that you guys can access that just deal with web development in a superficial basis. We try to take a completely different approach, and you will learn from security to deployment to really advanced things that will give you a good foundation of web development. We've seen a lot of web developers that are just kind of putting together HTML, and that is it. The idea of the Django course is completely the opposite. It's a great foundation of how the web works. We do a lot of API development. We do a lot of testing of services. We do deployments. I mean, the title is web development with Django. We talk about, I don't know, Docker. We talk about Heroku. We talk about all these things that are important for web developers: security, scaling, you know, all these things. Again, it's not just the basic of putting together HTML, but having a real web service deployed. So we have had more than 500 students so far. You guys can check all the reviews that we have in course report. These are real students talking. So that's why we try to do these two, because it's not just for us, it's important to communicate what we do. We have the issue that we usually have is that it's hard for us to tell you what we do. We have more than 15 mentors available, you know, at different hours, and we're going to talk more about that later. And it's important because, again, the core of Remoter is giving you human interaction. We want you to be able to communicate with a human being. You have a question. You have read that a list is this collection. You don't want a machine giving you the same explanation over and over again. You want a real human being realizing what you're struggling with and rephrasing the answer, or creating context. Like, what do? I play basketball. All right, I'm going to explain you collections from a basketball perspective. So you want a real human being helping you in this really important process, which is learning. And finally, before or after the course, you're going to be able you will be part of a big community, right? We have people even after completing the course that are still around. They have gotten shops at important companies. They are still coming. Like, we gather every once in a while. We do free courses, we do workshops, and we are all part of this big community, because I've been programming for more than 10 years and I'm still learning today. Learning is not something that has a clear start and end. It's never ending, actually. So that's why we want to keep that community, and we want to keep everyone engaged in the same process. And now, the moment of a few important updates. Oh, sorry, I need to share the updates. Oh, sorry, I was muted. So the first update, thank you very much, guys. The first update, we're going to introduce mentors of hours and unlimited. The mentors have always been unlimited in Remoter, but we want to make that clear definition. The idea is that we're going to post a schedule where all the mentors are going to be available. So after, like, aside traditional coding session and classes hours, there will be mentors available, so you can just talk to them at any moment, right? You can just ping someone when you have an issue and they will help out. We are going to plan that beforehand, before the course starts, so you will have access to them in a tight schedule. That is our first big update. It's going to be really important for us because we want to support the learning process of our students, and we know that it's important. Like, everyone has different times, and you want to work on, I don't know, different hours, and it's good to have mentors aside from the traditional coding session hours. And the second big update is we've been working with Josh, and we have already our prep course. So all of you that feel that are not ready to commit to the Intro to Python course, which is challenging. I mean, even though it's an introductory course, it is challenging. We're going to introduce the prep course. The prep course is going to be, we're still designing a few things. Probably will be just $100, and it will be completely transferable to the Intro to Python course. So if you decide to take the Intro to Python course, it's going to be $100 off. All right, so it's just we are still deciding that, but the idea of the prep course is just to get you ready to the intro course it's going to be a less intensive course, and to get your feet wet in relations to programming, and so you don't struggle with the intro to Python course. So that is basically it. Thank you very much for like listening to me these, how much, 20 minutes. I know it's boring. Shosh, I don't know if I'm forgetting something, if you want to tell these guys anything. And of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something you mentioned like at the beginning with how sometimes students struggle, like they're learning through Code Academy or something where you're reading a book. That's actually what I went through. I was learning through like Coursera and EDX before I took the intro class, and I was having a hard time because there would be videos and then they would have assignments, and I felt like the assignments were like completely unrelated to what they taught. Um, and you couldn't. It's hard to ask for help because you post it in the forums and you might get a response and you might not. So once I came over here and took the intro course, first of all, the assignments and the projects, they were related to what we were learning. And anytime I could just say, hey, I need some help, this is my problem, and somebody would help me. So that's something I feel like the intro class really helped me, I would say, step into the world of programming and apply the things I was learning.
So we have a question here. Riz asking about, Riz, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is asking about if the prep course is for people with no experience with programming. And I would say kind of, it depends. The first 2 weeks probably dealing with programming are the most like, they are traumatic, It's like, why am I doing this? You're realizing a lot of things, there are a lot of things coming, and usually it's important to have flexibility during that process. During those 2 weeks, it's not more than 2 weeks, but for some people it's going to be just 2 days, for someone else it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks. So it's important to have flexibility, to just go work on something. If it doesn't work, leave, keep thinking about it while you're taking a shower, while you're cooking, and get those first engines going, So I wouldn't, even though I believe that the prep course could be useful, so for someone just getting into programming, I would say it's better to start on your own, and there are plenty of resources for that. The easiest thing that I could think about is just Code Academy. The simplest one, Code Academy, the free layer about Python in Code Academy, that is a great resource. Just get you started. It's not going to make you code correctly. Like, it's just, you will be printing a few things on the screen and that is it, no more than that. But it's going to have your mind rolling, and then the prep course is going to be a good experience. I think I forgot something really important about the prep course. Sorry about this. The idea of the prep course is it's going to be less intensive, more self-paced. We have the material prepared, but it will have mentor hours planned. So you will meet with your assigned mentors twice a week, right? To talk with them, to ask for them to explain things. And usually the prep course, this part or this process that you're going through, is less of us pushing, but it's more about pulling. I will not sit and explain you something because I don't know where you are. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna listen to you, and I want you to ask me things, and I'm gonna pull from there. I want to see where are you currently? What's that is making you struggle? where's the hustle in your own brain, and I will help you with that. So that's why the prep course doesn't have an actual class, sorry, where I sit and teach you something or explain you something, where I push something, but it has the concept of mentoring hours. So I will just sit there and just listen, answer your questions, help you explain something. That is the basic of prep course. Wrapping up your question, my answer here. I don't know, Josh, what do you think? But I would say prep course, not for someone just getting to programming today, the first thing they do. I would say minimum, like just getting some Code Academy, a simple YouTube video, something getting you started, and then yes, it's a great option. Just 2 weeks, but something before joining the prep course.
Yeah, I agree. You would definitely have an easier time, because if, let's say, you did Code Academy first, like, just for a little bit, like you said, you would just be introduced to certain concepts, and then once you come over to the prep course, you'll be like, oh wait, I remember that, and then you'll dive a little deeper into it, and then sooner or later it'll click, and you'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. You're still muted, by the way, Santiago.
Oh, sorry. I mute so my background noises and interfere with your answer. Just forget. So Ping is asking us, what are the backgrounds of some mentors we will have in data science focused Python project related to connect with a mentor with more experience with that? Yes. So for example, the background is really diverse. I am more of this pure programmer. Like I focus on designing things aside from the real application. Shush, here I'm gonna talk for you, Shush. You just correct me, but it's more of a networking / systems guy.
Yeah.
Like straight to the bones, bare metal networking.
Yep.
And then we have more variety. We have people that it's based on specific platforms like mobile developers. We have, of course, more people that are related to backend web development, but experience in the backend, like building powerful APIs. And then, of course, we do have people with data science background. And data science thing is something I think we have already talked about this. It's something we're working really hard on, and it was actually one of my updates for today, but then I said better keep it like safe, don't announce data science yet, but we're really close to have something going a course, right? And so yes, we do have people that are related to data science. The challenge of data science is that it sounds like just one thing, data science, but it's a huge topic. From the programming part of data science that the advanced course covers really well, the advanced concepts related to programming, to the math part, math statistics about it, to the applications of that, because you can do data science to process genes or like biology applications or finances or many different things. So it is a broad topic, and it's hard to cover everything. So that's why we try to focus on the core, on the concepts, on the fundamentals. Hatiba is asking if there are any updates on course scale option for working people in Pacific time zones. We don't have the class yet for Pacific time zone people. So what we are doing, and this is kind of I don't know, it's not official, it's not something we advertise, but what we say is we try to agree. Actually, we have a student from Pacific time zone, and what we do is, if you can watch the class, then we have the mentors hours are planned on a time that are friendly both for Eastern and Pacific people, and also Europeans. So it's just trying to watch the lesson and then joining the mentors hours are available for all of them. But sadly, we don't have yet the Pacific time zone course. It is also something we're really close to release, but not a certain date yet. So guys, questions, come on. Anything about Python, about the course? I mean, we talked a lot about the course. Anyone has more of a technical question to make this more fun? Anyone's working on any project you want to share? We're here to help. So before I forget, you guys, I don't know if you have seen it, but we have just released, I think last week, free FLASK tutorial for those of you interested in, let me, there you go, a free FLASK tutorial for all of you that are trying to get into web development. Oh, why is this? It's getting the wrong resolution. It's flasktutorial.com, and you guys can access it. This Zoom is getting the resolution wrong. So you guys can access it and sign up. That is basically it. So Sean is talking about the React curriculum. We are finishing building the React, the first two courses about React, and that is going to be a front-end focused curriculum to finish. Like the objective of it, or the final course, is going to be about React Native. We actually run a test course about React Native this last month. We have a couple of students. It was small. We were testing curriculum, methodology, and a few different things. And it went really well. We built amazing applications you guys can check out. Let me share my screen. 1 second. There you go. So I want to show you a couple of apps that we have shared right here. So if you will see them, if you guys get into our GitHub profile, you will see, let's say, for example, a to-do app. This is just third week. A to-do app on top of Firebase that just updates itself, you know, a collaborative API. We built, let me say, we built an Instagram clone, complete Instagram clone, just this week too, you know, with advanced navigation, tab navigation. It's with the accessing the camera, location of the pictures. It's a pretty cool project. So you guys, you can check the projects here in case you want to take a look. But yeah, that's the focus of the React curriculum. So I encourage you all guys to, again, check the free tutorial we have. It's available for free if you guys want to get started with web development. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. Let me show you really quickly. Let me see.
We got a question, Santiago. What projects are we building with the advanced Python and Django courses?
Oh, cool. I think we have something listed here. We actually included that because that's a real common question. Advanced Python and Django course. So a few projects we work with, for example, this is my personal favorite one, Star Wars. Using the Star Wars API, Star Wars, I think it's .co. Yep. Using the Star Wars API, which is a free and open API that has all the information about the Star Wars movies, you guys will build active record-like project that focuses on object-oriented programming and iterators. So you will have the concept of, it's really similar to the active record pattern, and basically you will have to build this class that will act both as an aggregator that will get you just one object of this people class, but it will also be an iterator. So you will have to iterate over the Star Wars API. And it seems simple, but this iterator, of course, has to make HTTP requests, right, to this API and paginate it. Because if you guys check closely, I'm going to consult the people resource. Let me see if I got the resource. There you go. So whenever you request to the people resource, you get just 10 results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is it. And if you want to get the next 10 results, you have to use the pagination feature that it's basically passing here. Oh, there we go. Page 2. So that means you have to build an iterator that will completely abstract the user from that process. See, the user is going to do something like for personing people at all, and it's going to get the 87 resources, right? 87 actors, people, and it's completely abstracted to the user. You know, the user never knows that there is pagination underneath. It's a really, really cool project. The third one, the shops detector, is also cool because we kind of get into this data handling process. You have to parse there is this, I don't know if you guys, it's a pretty popular website, Hacker News, just news for hackers, nerd news, right? Every day. And every month they release this who's hiring post. Someone takes the lead and posts who's hiring, and then as comments you get a lot of questions, right? Sorry, comments, a lot of shop offerings. So the project has to parse, the idea of the project is to parse this post to answer a couple of data related questions. Like for example, you have to build a command line tool, so that is also interesting. It's a real command line tool that answers to a couple of subcommands. One of them is Hacker News, and you will filter, like you will ask for reports like based on keywords, right? So for example, you will pass the post ID and it will give you a set of default keywords, and then you will say, for example, give me all the posts that contain Python, Django, or Ruby, and then you're going to get that information, how many posts and how many of the total they represent, and then the combination, right? So for example, how many of them have both remote and Python, on FLASK, remote Python and FLASK, or remote and Django, you know, so you will have the combination and of course the overall result. So this is also an entire cool project. If you guys go to the homepage of our course and check here on, where is it? Check some of our projects, you will get this gist, has a couple of them. There are how many? 12 projects. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you guys will be working on a project, so you can check them all here. They're all free and open source, sorry. Remote group projects, the organization, you have all of them here. If they start with PYP, they're from Advanced. If they start with WDD, they're from Django. And if they start with IDP, they're from the intro one. So Bing is asking how good traditional computer science subjects such as algorithm and data structure be part of the class. How much knowledge of the subject could be needed to build these advanced Python projects? So this is something that I don't know if I mentioned, but we try to focus a lot on concepts. So the course itself will deal with concepts, and what we will try is to communicate important concepts. So we will not infer that you guys know something if it's important, right? We're gonna carefully teach you this, especially in the intro course. The intro course will walk you through important algorithms and data structures that we use, so you have the fundamentals about it. So to join the intro course, you don't need any, you don't need to know about sorting algorithms. You don't need anything like that. You do need them for the advanced one. So if you're jumping just straight to the advanced course, it's important to know them. But if you're getting started with the intro one, it's not required. And data scrapping, Charles, to be honest, I don't need to put anything specially related to data scrapping because I am giving you the tools to do that. And actually, that's the idea of this project, the shops detector one. Where was it? There you go. So this project, for us, we focus on concepts. So we will give you all the concepts. And these concepts and these foundations, these tools will let you give or have an actual application, a real application to that. So what is happening, for example, the advanced Python course never mentions data scrapping, but we actually have a project that I forgot to mention it, but we are using Beautiful Soup that will ask you, that will ask you to use Beautiful Soup to parse and scrape this data and in order to make this project. And again, this is 1 out of 12 projects. So there are no plans to create a course just about data scraping, but data scraping is one of the topics we deal with in an advanced Python course, and of course in the future data science course. So just for you, peace of mind, having the right foundation, the advanced concepts, then it's just about getting it done. It's not harder than that. So anyone have any other question we could help you with? We thought we would have more questions about Python in general. Thank you very much for joining this. I was actually getting into our homepage, so you guys can find the contact section in any course. Oh, it was right there. So if you ever need anything, just you have here our email address is open. You can always ping us in case you guys have questions. And by the way, there are already examples about projects we have built, classes you guys can consult. But again, if you have any questions, just let us know. We try to be available pretty much all the time if you guys want to talk, right? So if you're reading the web page and it doesn't make sense, just get someone to talk to you. So we will just do a quick meeting, talk over the phone, over a Google Hangout or something, and just have a real human being interacting with you. So thank you very much. Josh, something I'm forgetting, something to wrap it up. Do you want to close it?
I think you pretty much covered everything. I mean, yeah, I would definitely recommend the intro course. So, am I cutting out? Sorry.
No.
Nope. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the intro course to anyone who might be struggling to get started programming. And the advanced course, I would say if you have, a good amount of I wouldn't say experience, but you've already learned the basics and some extra. The classes really helped me go to the next level, I would say, and create real things instead of just pretend stuff. So that's all I got.
Cool. So I think that is it. Thank you very much. Again, we're open and we're available in case you guys have questions. So just let us know, and see you all hopefully in one course or other. Have a great night. Thank you, Josh, for joining, and see you.
Bye, guys and gals.